Hey everyone, welcome back to Houkago no Pleiades, or Pleiades, whatever you say. Episodes 4 and 5, yes, I got lazy with this as well. Episode 4 was Dream of Soul, and 5 was a hat, ice, and a princess. And I have Skyline with me.
Hello, everyone.
Yep, and these two episodes are pretty interesting. I mean, I think they're more character episodes, while Hikaru had episode 4, and Itsuki had episode 5, which was nice. Some of these characters I kind of wanted to see what they're like instead of there being background characters. For the first couple episodes, but yeah. So I'm gonna jump right in with my top 3 moments. So episode 4, it was mostly Hikaru for my third thing, and I guess it was a bit like music themed, so maybe a little bit like Your Lie in April. Even going so far as the girl didn't want to hear the music, which was just like a subplot of her dealing with, I guess, family issues. I guess that's what you want to call it. But yeah, I like the episode with her. I guess they revealed that she got her power after seeing a music note that I guess her dad couldn't finish the song. So she, kind of walked in his music room and fixed the song for him, and I guess that kind of hurt her. I guess she didn't want to hear it or something. I was a little bit confused in the episode, but
Well, basically what's happening there is, like, as she was telling on, she's obviously something of a prodigy when you get right down to it. But it's something that she's still kind of embarrassed about, something she doesn't want to either take for granted or boast about too terribly much, because everyone was filling in, like, oh, can't you, like, do this amazing thing, or can't you, like read a book really fast or do all that? And she was like, yeah, kind of, so she was kind of holding that off. And a lot of that came from that incident that she was talking about, because she came in and finished her dad's song. And what she was scared of was the fact that, what if I did it wrong? What if I messed my dad's song up?
Right, yeah, I remember seeing that.
And, or it could have gone another way. What if I did better by him and I upset my dad and make him mad at me?
Right. I think I also took the fact that she kind of wanted him to do it on his own, not kind of help him.
Yeah.
Then she helped him and maybe give him a crutch. She was kind of like, I don't want that to happen. So yeah, I guess you could say she was a little scared of a bunch of different things.
From that episode, if she wanted to help him out, for crying out loud, help clean out the guy's ashtray. That is the one thing that stuck out in my mind, because I'm a smoker and I clean my ashtray out, at least twice a day and something like that. I mean, you're not too busy to do that, dude.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's an aside, but that was the one
fine.
moment. That's the moment that got her tied up in knots. When you get right down to it, she just kind of lost something of herself.
Yeah, I'm liking how these episodes so far are kind of showing you like a moment where the girls kind of discover their power. It's through something tragic or something that's kind of on their minds, or maybe they're thinking about something. Like Hikaru, she was thinking about the music thing, thinking about if her dad's gonna matter. Then she saw the stars, and it kind of, I guess, revealed that she had her powers by then. Even with Itsuki in episode 5, same thing with her. After her incident, she kind of gets these powers or something like that. But it's kind of cool how they're setting all that up.
Yeah, I mean, because we've been calling it a magical girl show, and now it's kind of finally kind of coming into more elements that are common to magical girl shows.
Right, and I guess sorry. Your top 3 moment, I guess, kind of gets to the Hikaru here.
Her way of being able to get through was to just trust them. I really liked that towards the end, to where she could say, I mean, it was really, really silly when you get right down to it, but I'm going to school, then going to club, and then I'm going to go to the moon.
Right, and they also put that trust in her too.
Well, I guess she's going to be going out into the moon. Maybe she's being sly, because being an oh so clever 12 or 13-year-old or something along those lines. And so, like, they say, okay, we'll do this special event where we broadcast this music, to the moon, which was in the way of the star Gliese.
Yeah, was it kind of? Go ahead.
Which we talked about in Punchline, didn't we? Someone by the name of Gliese.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was in the same week. Weird.
Yeah. I mean, I always have episode 4 with this, because it's finally, well, I mean, they've done it before with certain other series, but the fact that she actually is okay with the parents, not mad at them, like most anime characters are. Or, don't like their parents, or the parents are away. This one actually shows you that her parents are kind of involved somewhat in her life. She's not pushing them away completely, which a lot of series love doing, the whole parents are missing, our parents are MIA type thing, which always confuses me. But this one is kind of like, oh, they're there, but they're kind of, sort of, not really there. So.
Yeah, well, kind of like we discussed, when you have television shows that center around teenager problems or younger people's problems, when you have the adult there, it kind of sucks all the oxygen away from them, and like, oh, the adults can solve the problem and all that, which is something they're not wanting to do.
Yeah, that's true. So my how cute was the episode? My top 2 moment for episode 4 was Itsuki themed. I guess it was mostly her in episode 5, and for a long time she's been the kind of quiet girl, I guess you'd say, of the group. Doesn't really. I mean, I've noticed screenshots of her sometimes where she would hide behind someone else if something's going on, because she's very shy. But I guess they did reveal in the past she was more of a tomboy, but then she got hurt, got a scar on her forehead, and kind of, I guess, stopped being that way because, I guess obviously a young girl doesn't want to have a scar on her face their whole life. So.
And her brother took the blame for it, and that was a pretty big part too.
Right. Yeah, it was.
She ended up causing trouble.
That, and they kept hinting at this play about this princess, type of story, prince, all that. The story they were talking about was interesting, and I could tell right off the bat, as soon as they introduced the story and they told Itsuki's gonna be the princess, I'm like, no, she wants to be the prince, because she was kind of like not feeling it when they were doing all that. So I was like, yeah, she wants to be the prince.
And she was interrupted trying on the princess dress or doing that sort of thing. And that makes me wonder, did they have to pull it in a little bit for Aoi? Oh, poor girl.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, it was measured for Itsuki to wear, and I was wearing it. It was like, yeah, I was like, okay. But I guess she was the one that designed the clothes and made them, so I guess she could alter them pretty fast, I would assume. But yeah, I thought it was kind of cool just learning her backstory and a little bit more with her. I guess it was more her and Subaru kind of together, which was very different than the usual pairing of Subaru and Al, whatever. But yeah, so what was your number 2?
I like how they did a little bit of science in this episode, because the method they used to capture the engine when it was in the rings of Saturn, basically they got to one side of it and used magic as a form of gravity to be able to guide it along until it could be captured by the other team. And one of the neat effects of especially the one of the outer rings along Saturn's rings, is that it has 2 moons, Pandora and Prometheus, which one's on the outside of that outer ring, one's on the inside, and both of them keep a contour in the shape of the ring as they go along. So the gravitational force of those 2 moons actually keeps that ring in shape, and it guides other of the components of Saturn's rings along with it. So they were kind of using themselves as gravity, just like the moons did. I love science. I love science fiction, so something like that just jumps right out at me.
Yeah, I think I was looking at it, I'm like, I think it's the first time they've ever used Saturn in anime, I think. I mean, Captain Earth did some of it, but they didn't really go to Saturn like these girls did. I
can't recall it.
Yeah, so that's probably more. Someone's probably gonna correct me, but yeah, it was cool just seeing that how they actually used it and they explained. And other than the fact that the girls were talking about, I guess, the different planets, they look like food to them. I like that too. I was like, that's kind of cute.
Well, yeah, because they to me it was like when she mentioned, well, the Saturn kind of looked like the foam on top of a latte, or something along those lines. I was like, man, that's sweetie, that latte is made of ammonia crystal. That's
yeah, I can't eat that.
That's moving at 1,800 meters a second.
Right.
You might not want to taste that latte. It's bad latte.
Speaking of eating, I almost forgot this. Episode 4 had that whole dream thing with the Subaru on the moon. They're eating it. It was like one giant cake. I'm like, wow.
At least it wasn't made of cheese, for crying out loud. I don't know if there's cheesecake in the mix in there somewhere, but still, it's just.
I'm like,
well, that was Hikaru's dream. That was kind of like almost like she was kind of going through. Maybe she was thinking that there was a second childhood of sorts or a childhood that she missed, and so the moon was much more fanciful, and her friend Subaru was much simpler.
Yeah, eating cake and everything. Basically devouring the moon. That is funny. I'm like, this is like
sailing across a caramel lake.
Yeah, I was like, this is like a K-On! Sugar dream. I swear.
Yep.
Like that's what they would do. I mean, the ending of that would be have a cake, but yeah, like you said, the science was kind of cool. I like that. And my number 1 would be Subaru. I guess she has this knack for getting the girls to open up and talk to her about their problems.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she could be a psychiatrist, I guess, maybe, because everyone seems like to reveal their deepest secrets to her. You know, like what they're going through, they're getting emotional problems. They come to her, and now now I see why she cries so much, because she has the burden of knowing everyone's secrets. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have a 5-man band. One's the muscle, one's the smart guy or the smart girl in this case. Someone's got to be the heart. Someone's got to be the Xander of Team Buffy.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if because we have some other characters that are kind of, I guess still secretive, like the redhead guy. It seems like whenever he meets with her, he's starting to reveal a little bit more about him. Little by little, he's revealing things. And now I'm wondering about Nanako. Like, I'm curious about her. Is she always just upbeat, serious character? Or does she actually have some real problems? You know.
Who knows? We'll definitely see. It'll be something to look forward to.
Right. And plus, the last thing I mentioned, the Saturn trip again. I don't really see very many animes travel to Saturn or use Saturn as like a backdrop, which is kind of cool. And it was funny. I was talking to my brother about this one. We're like, okay, they're floating these little rings. I'm like, imagine if someone at NASA's, on satellite seeing this. It's like, why there's these rings suddenly appearing out of nowhere? These circles.
Yeah, I mean, they did mention the fact that the rest of the debris or the rest of the composition of the rings would kind of fill in quickly to make up that gap. Saturn's ring composition is 99% ices. It's mostly water ice, some ammonia ice, and different things like that. On average, they've estimated that most of the boulders and things like that are probably about the size of kitchen sinks. And at its thickest, it's probably about maybe 3 or 4 stories tall. It's thin. It's a lot thinner than you would think it is. But it's still moving at 22,000 meters per second.
Yeah, that, and they showed us the width of it, is 5 Earths, basically.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and the width of it is 5 Earths and all that. So they got a little bit of science in there and different things like that. But, well, the width of Saturn is 5 Earths. The width of the rings, you're looking at about anywhere from 11 to 15, depending on how the rings are shaped.
Yeah, they could have been like, oh, this is it's just magic rings here. Oh, they could have been like that.
well, I mean, that would go way back to, the first observations of Saturn. One of the weirdest things I know about that planet is in the 16th or 17th century, there was a guy in the charge of the papal library that he conjectured that the rings of Saturn, and get ready for something really, really weird, folks, and Fosh, that the rings were Jesus's foreskin.
That's weird.
That when he ascended to heaven, the foreskin, wherever it was kept after it was discarded, went to heaven with him, and by heavens we mean space, and it was hung around the planet Saturn.
That's a little weird, yeah.
So far both the Voyager missions and the Cassini missions have verified that they are indeed made of water ice.
Well, that's good. That would have been weird. The girls running around over there with that, so yeah. Now, I guess, what's your number one?
Magical girls in space. A lot of magical girls, like you could school me more on this when you get right down to it. Magical girls, it's kind of storybooky, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's very, very fantasy derived. I mean, there's always this case to where it's like, there's a fractured fairy tale going on, and they've got to fix that. Or in the case of something dark like Madoka, it's a witch in a labyrinth, so it's very supernatural tinged. I really like this because it's in space. And even though you and I are old farts watching this, there's probably some girls that are watching this as well. And so I'm kind of hoping this kind of has like that Star Trek effect that it had back in the 60s on girls, that they become kind of interested in science, that they look at that and become a little bit inspired to look out at it. And now we know why Subaru might be doing it, because they do aerospace contract work.
Right, yeah.
So that might be a reason why they're footing this bill, because it's a bit more of a scientifically bent or a science fiction bent magical girl show instead of being all fantasy.
Right. The only thing I would think would be Sailor Moon, kind of like that, where they do go to space eventually. I mean, she is from the Moon Kingdom, after all, so they do that later on. But
those were like really fantasy elements of the moon and all. aren't they?
I mean, yeah, a lot of people could argue that Vivid Red Operation was kind of a futuristic magical girl take on it, whatever. Where it's not fantasy, but yeah, a lot of shows they can mix it up, not a thing.
Did you just say Red Dead Operation?
No, Vivid Red Operation. I can't say it.
I thought you said Red Dead Operation. I'm like,
Nah.
oh my god, magical girls in the Old West, ladies and gentlemen.
Nah. But yeah, so I mean that's kind of magical girl as well. But yeah, so maybe I think Nanaha is maybe more of a kind of a futuristic take as well.
Yep.
Especially if you see like season 2. So, but yeah, it's good seeing the magical girls kind of that genre kind of expand into other things. Even though my dream magical girl series is still a combination of mecha and magical girls. They ever did something like that, but
They've never done anything like that, really?
nothing like giant robot wise, but they've done
mechanized, like Simple Gear.
Yeah, they've done things like that, but as far as like giant robots go, they haven't really done the combination yet of that, but we'll see one day. So I guess you got a random note here, Saturn.
Just freaking Saturn! My god, that was so cool. I mean, there's a part of me that like kind of felt like they would have visited Mars, because I really like Mars, because I obsessively, compulsively study like possible Mars missions that we have in our future and different things like that. It's one of the things that excites me, just because it's such a absolutely terrific idea, and I will not hear a single negative thing said about that. If we are to advance our own understanding of all the sciences, we have to get out of the moon race that we've been stuck coasting in for more than 40 years. And as Arnold Schwarzenegger said, get our fucking asses to Mars. And if that's possible, I mean, Saturn, weird, but there's Titan, there's Enceladus. They have possibilities of those 2 moons of Saturn might contain some form of life in some way, shape, or form. So it's something, like I said, again, it's something that inspires girls. They can look at different things like that and just kind of be inspired for planetary sciences and look to those things as a possibility for the next generation. It's something I love, personally.
Right. Yeah. The one thing I would mention them is like, they've gone to the moon, they've gone to Saturn. Like, how far are they gonna go? I was thinking about what if they go to like the edge of the universe or something. Where it's like,
I hope they keep it in our solar system. That would be kind of nice. I mean, one of the stars in the Subaru or the Pleiades star clusters is probably not off the map or anything like that. I hope they visit the Oort cloud, which is where they theorize a lot of our comets come from. It's a body of rocky ices that are way beyond Pluto's really, really strange orbit. And it's just basically leftover rocks and ice that never succumbed that much to the sun's gravity or what you call angular momentum that forms bodies from gases and different things like that in the formation of our solar system.
Right.
But they're just kind of floating way out there. And on occasion, they get nudged and they start to fall towards the sun. And when they get close to the sun, all the gases and the ices start erupting from their surface, and it forms the comet tail. So I'm kind of hoping they do that, and they can rope a comet and drive it back home. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm more curious about that, getting out of our solar system and going farther than that, and because this is Gynax, the guys who did Gurren Lagann, which did the whole Edge of the Universe.
They did Edge of the Universe, they did Multiverse and different stuff like that.
Yeah, that. Go ahead.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way too. But there's so much about our own solar system that's so completely awesome that gets overlooked.
Right. I just see them. They're just going farther and farther out. Eventually, they're going to get to the point where they get so far out, they have to get the biggest engine piece. I can see them doing that, going even farther.
We can see 13.8 billion years from the light that has gone to the edge of the known universe that we know of to us. But we cannot see beyond that point yet, but it is conjectured that it is something beyond that limit. So they might toy around with that.
Alright, that sounds pretty good. Well, guess we'll see you guys next week from episode 6 for Houkago. Yeah, we're going to do one episode next time, so we'll see.
Just do one episode next time?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Depending what happens. But yeah, so that's been the episode. We'll see you guys next week.
Later, folks.